So absolutely insane times on the Jacksonville Jaguars timeline. And guys, there is really so much to get into. I'm not even sure where to start, but I want to start here because I just had to get this off my chest. And and it's been a really bad week, I guess, for me personally, because a lot of you guys probably know that, look, my YouTube channel last week got hacked. And it wasn't down for very long, but then for some reason YouTube took my channel down again right in the middle of my Trent Baalke stream. And then during that time, the Jaguars had hired a head coach and just a lot went on. And I was sitting here kind of without a voice. So I do have my backup channel linked down below. So, check out that channel. If anything happens to this channel, I'll be over there. And I'll probably explain to everybody exactly what happened so you guys can prevent anything bad from happening to you. But definitely scary stuff because I thought 8 years and 19,000 subscribers was about to go down the drain. But, right now, what I want to do later on in a different video is really get into what the Jaguars did, what this means for the future, what the Jaguars have ahead. Because look, the timeline is not complete right now. The Jaguars have a head coach, but what the Jaguars don't currently have right now is a GM, our coordinators, it's a coaching staff. What does a Liam Coen hire mean when it comes to what kind of personnel the Jaguars may want to bring in? There's just so much going on that we'll break down either tonight or tomorrow. I'll come out with really a full condensed video where we explain everything. But on this one, I want to go over really the fact that, dude, Buccaneers fans talk about being major crybabies over something they should be a little salty about, but not at the point where they're calling Liam Coen a snake and everything. So, the Jaguars, Liam Coen, the Buccaneers knew the whole time that Liam Coen was going to be a hot candidate for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they knew that potentially they were going to lose Liam Coen to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But on Wednesday morning, something happened, a handshake happened where they said, okay, Liam Coen is going to stay in Jacksonville and become the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. Because, quite frankly, and this is what a lot of the speculation is, that Liam Coen doesn't like the structure over in Jacksonville. And I think it all points to the fact that he did not like how he had to work side and side with Trent Baalke, because Trent Baalke is the ultimate snake and he has Shad Khan's ear. And all these head coaches are, never survive with Trent Baalke around, and Trent Baalke is the ultimate survivor. So, Shad Khan makes a move a couple hours later and fires Trent Baalke. Now, and then they got back in contact with Liam Coen and said, hey, this is out. Have a conversation with us. And, this is one thing that, I'm not the biggest fan of this woman, but she does have, she drops some good tidbits as Mia O'Brien from 1010XL. She was talking about how, the Jaguars don't pay their coaches a lot. When it comes to when Shad Khan has been an owner, Gus Bradley wasn't paid that much. Doug Marrone wasn't paid that much, and Doug Peterson wasn't paid that much either, because Doug Peterson wanted a head coaching job, and the Jaguars were the only team to offer him. So that's one reason why they didn't have to pay him as much, and also, he was a guy that's willing to work with Trent Baalke because this is the only opportunity that he had. So, and initially, when the Jaguars were reaching out to Liam Coen, they said, okay, your GM's going to be Trent Baalke and you're going to be paid, X amount of money, which is probably more in line with the previous coaches. And he said, I don't want to work with Trent Baalke, and, I don't want to make that minimal amount of money. So he went back to Tampa Bay. Then things changed with the Jaguars. Obviously, Trent Baalke was out. Shad Khan let him know that, hey, you're going to have a lot of autonomy over, being able to build, your front office and obviously the coaching staff, and you're going to be the highest ranked guy in a football organization, and you're going to be paid Ben Johnson money. So a significant pay bump. So, he listened, and obviously the way the timeline happened was Wednesday morning, Liam Coen told the Buccaneers, like, okay, I'm staying here. And then the next day, the Buccaneers couldn't get in contact with him. Now, the weird thing about that is he said that later on, he said, hey, sorry, I've been in the hospital with my kid, but I also want to, reevaluate the Jaguars job. That's what he told him. And then his wife came out and tweeted that, hey, don't try to make all these assumptions about my husband. We were at the hospital with our kid. And if you actually look at it, his plane, the private jet, did not fly out of Tampa until 5 p.m. So there's a very good chance that most of that day he was at the hospital. And then once he got out, he let Todd Bowles know what was going on, and then he went over to Jacksonville. And while he was in Jacksonville, basically Shad Khan gave him the reins. Shad Khan really, really wanted him. He saw how much the Jaguars organization valued him. And on the flip side, you can make the argument that the Buccaneers organization really didn't value him because they were going to make him the highest paid coordinator in the NFL, but there were a lot of stipulations behind it. The stipulations was you cannot have a second interview with the Jaguars. You can't go over there and talk to them. So basically, they tried to pin him down. And when there's two sides of the story, one thing that Adam Schefter was saying was he was saying that, he didn't like how the Buccaneers were basically holding him down. They were kind of forcing him in a corner and didn't really give him any freedom to go out there and seek better opportunities. That's a worse move from the Buccaneers than it is Liam Coen. Liam Coen is out there evaluating his job prospects. And you can't sit here and you want to compare it to a situation where people are like, oh, like he let the Buccaneers know, then he went behind their backs, didn't tell anyone, he went and interviewed with the Jaguars. All this stuff happened in less than a 36-hour time span. If you want to go back to a real snake, look at how Josh McDaniels did his business over with the Colts. Back in, I believe it was 2017, he had agreed to become the Colts head coach, but he was still coaching the Patriots when they were making their Super Bowl run. So there was about a 3-week span where the Colts were just kind of holding the fort down, knowing that, okay, once he completes the Super Bowl, he's going to come over here and be the Colts head coach. But I believe over 3 weeks went by, and then all of a sudden after the Super Bowl, he tells the Colts, you know what, I don't want the job anymore. So the Colts at that point, they had waited around, and then they're way behind the ball here when it comes to getting the head coach in here, getting a coaching staff in here, and like all the other head coach vacancies have closed. All the top head coaches were gone, and then they had to go out there and basically get the offensive coordinator from the other Super Bowl team with the Philadelphia Eagles. They brought him in there, and he became the head coach. And then Frank Reich kept their defensive coordinator. He kept a bunch of things in place, and that right there, that's some snake stuff. Now, the Buccaneers, over the course of 36 hours, Liam Coen said, okay, I'm going to be the head coach over here. I'm taking a better job with more money, with just a lot more control. And these head coaching jobs don't happen very often. So he went out there and did that. And now they have to find a new offensive coordinator, which, look, you were preparing to lose Liam Coen beforehand. You have your short list of guys. And, over the course of a day, you figure out that, he's staying and now he's leaving. So now they have to go out there and find another offensive coordinator, which is tough. I mean, they lost Danny Canales last year to the Carolina Panthers, and this is a big downside when you have a defensive head coach. When you have a defensive head coach, and if your offense is clicking, that offensive coordinator is going to get a job, somewhere, because that's how the NFL works. Everybody wants the offensive head coach, and it's just unfortunately how it is in the NFL. So, the Jaguars get Liam Coen in here. And is that a good hire? We'll see. I mean, he's a great offensive coordinator. He doesn't have a lot of longevity when it comes to, staying somewhere and keep building it. I think that's my biggest worry about Liam Coen is that, when I look at a Ben Johnson, who is my number one, he was in Detroit and he did it for multiple years. You know what I mean? If you look at Liam Coen, he just did it for 1 year over there for the Buccaneers, but there's plenty of upside, but that's the main thing. So yeah, now the Bucs, have to go back to their short list of candidates and go out there and review what they want to do. But sitting here and saying that coming from a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who at one point fired their head coach and Lovie Smith to keep Dirk Cutter as the offensive coordinator, they were out there sitting here saying like, oh, this is a dirty thing this offensive coordinator is doing. Bro, he went out there, got a better job, and he's making more money, and he's got a great job over here, with Trevor Lawrence, with the way the Jaguars team is, getting a new stadium, all that stuff. I mean, it's a pretty good job. So, with that said, it's the Buccaneers just being selfish from the fact that they don't want this guy going out there and, and I saw a tweet earlier. This tweet's from at David Graham 3. Cohen's Bucs offer was contingent on him not doing a second interview. Bucs tried to do what was best for themselves, not for Coen. But when the tables are turned and Coen does what's best for himself, he's a bad guy. Exactly. So, and then now they're throwing, his kid and everything under the bus. It's just a lot of ridiculousness. But had to get that off my chest. I'll be back making a full extensive video on this. And appreciate all you guys for hanging around. I'm sorry for being gone these past couple days. I was very, very scared I was going to lose my YouTube channel, which, man, 8 years of work into this. Over 25% of my life I've put into this YouTube channel. About 80% of my adult life I've spent here on YouTube. So I thought all that was down the drain, which was scary. But all right, guys, appreciate everybody for being here. Please do me a favor, drop a like on your way out. We have a head coach, and it's Liam Coen, and Trent Baalke is gone. So, man, lots of stuff going on. I'd like to sit here and praise Shad Khan, but I almost don't want to because he's an idiot. He should have done this a long time ago, but at least he did what was right. And we're sitting here with Liam Coen in a GM spot opening instead of Robert Saleh with Trent Baalke because that was not going to get me excited. But thank you guys for being here. Please do me a favor, drop a like on your way out, and go Jags.